Hey there, friends, and welcome to the very first live stream on this channel, and also the very first live stream in what hopefully will be a series of live streams where I rebuild what was tragically lost in this zoo, Bollo Bollo. What you're looking at right now is a little something I called the Grand Safari, right? Not a very imaginative name, but the problem is I had built much more than what you're looking at. I had built this habitat. I had built a very large habitat right over here. I had built two rhinoceros habitats right over here, and then two very large, ostentatious, dramatic rhinoceros palaces, a black one and a white one over here. And all of that was deleted because I saved over it and hadn't taken the necessary precautions to protect myself from it. So what we are going to do is we're going to be, mostly I'm going to be live streaming the process of me starting to rebuild it. I don't think I will live stream every single moment of it, but it's also a way to sort of make me accountable, because I've been procrastinating on this a lot, because it was kind of a bit of a psychological hit on my mental well-being, the way that I deleted a good few weeks of work. So the commitment of live streaming, hopefully, even if I get no audience or like an audience of me and my girlfriend, right, it's still just a fun way for me to sort of involve anyone who would be willing to see this. The zoo, if you don't know what it is called Bollo Bollo. It is a ridiculous, very chaotic zoo that I've been working on for a long time. And yeah, after the Grand Safari is finished, we need to make sure it all looks nice around here, all of which I had already done. I had a habitat here as well that I've forgotten about. All of this was already done. And then later on we will continue over here to build the lions environment here. This will be, I don't know what it's going to be yet. Maybe the African elephant will live over here, I'm not sure. And then at the very end, fittingly, I will finally build for the great apes of Africa, animals for whom I have never built before, because I don't like building for climbing animals at all, but I will have to do it. For today's stream build, luckily we're starting off with something very simple and very straightforward, and that is this habitat. There's nothing special about it. It's just filling in this little spot with the appropriate plants and rocks, and then adding the animals that I did before. So I'm not going to be checking out the recorded footage I had for this as much as I will in other streams, because I know what to do. I know I had this moat filled in. I know I had a lot of rocks here. I know I had a tree over here and a tree over there, and it had the impala and the common eland. And if you stood here, you could see them walk past. So we're going to start out by filling in this moat with, very basic construction pieces. And then we're going to build a very ugly basic shelter in the style of, these ones that literally are just shelter to make sure the animals have somewhere to go. I can see that I had deleted every animal in the game, so the zoo is completely empty except for the hyenas that I had placed in the hyena arena. They are currently the only animal in Bollo Bollo, but that is just for the frame rate's sake, because with all of the animals removed in this zoo, we're looking at 35 frames per second. So yeah. Anyway, let's just get started. We're going to grab these things and start filling in the moat. Nothing special about it, nothing extraordinarily creative about it for sure. Why don't we make sure, first of all, that the animals can actually there, this feels a bit more appropriate since there is going to be a small shelter building over here. But the moat comes first. If anyone's watching, you can be sure to let me know whether or not the music is too loud or too quiet. I have never streamed before, and yeah, I'm a bit unsure about whether or not all the settings are correct. Is the frame rate decent? Is the music loud or quiet? Or if you're watching, be sure to let me know. I'm not going to be talking the whole time because, you know, I'm just building some very basic stuff right now. There's not much to say about it. This is definitely not the most detailed aspect of Bollo Bollo, because what truly can you say about building a small moat? I think I'm going to be smoothing out the edges though, to make sure it looks a bit better when we're building. We'll be doing the finishing touches on this later, because this habitat is, as you can see, is a very big one, and there's still a lot of work there to be done, just in terms of planting and making it, you know, adding detail. So this moat is literally almost unnecessary. I just like the idea that when you're on this safari ride, hopefully you don't see it. That's the sight lines that I'm going for, is that you don't see this moat, and that what I'm building here is visible in very rare occasions. Maybe only for the jeeps that are, you know, coming past here. They might be able to see the moat, but I hope it doesn't bother them. We'll probably be finishing off these edges with some basic rocks to sort of fill in the gaps here. Simply because I don't have the patience to mold the terrain in this way. I've never been a patient fellow, and especially not with the terrain building of Planet Zoo. I'll just throw in some rocks there. So if you are over here, you should not be able to see the moat at all, and that is actually true. And if you're over here, this is another viewing area. The moat should also be barely visible, and in fact it won't be visible because I'm going to build a very basic shelter right now using the same pieces I used for this. Right, so let's just keep it very basic. I'm literally putting the least amount of effort possible into this. Literally, guys, I on purpose have not put any effort into the shelters of Bollo Bollo, because I know the frame rate is already very bad. So I just want the very bare bones basics to make sure my animals have somewhere to rest and take cover from. You know, there's not a lot of elements here, it's in the desert, but in a future zoo I will be paying more attention to shelter for sure. We're now going to cover up this shelter being with rocks. We'll eventually be covering this entire mountain. Make sure I'm random rotating this we'll eventually be covering this entire mountain with rocks to make sure that from all sides it looks like more or less a natural formation. So detailing on that will probably improve in the future. Right, if you look at this side, for example, you can barely tell there is a shelter here. I don't even know where it is. Is it in here? Is it hidden? Where is the shelter for these guys? I don't know. They have it. Let's take some more rocks. Make sure we random rotate. Let's grab some of this. Angle it the right way. We'll actually have to do it like this. There we go. Select all of it. Make it a group. Oh, there is a